out of all the testimonies of how people's lives have been changed by the ministry of Life Without Limbs, I wanted to share with you a very incredible and special story of Daniel. I want you to meet this little boy today and his family. It changed my life when I met him. I met him at a speaking engagement in Orange County where I was preaching about how the Lord can use your circumstances for the benefit of His glory. When I saw Daniel in the crowd, I just knew I had to get his father up on stage and show him and lift him up in front of everyone. And when everybody saw that Daniel was exactly like me, there were tears all over the congregation. It was amazing to witness a miracle that the Lord would ordain our paths to cross. That God would send me without arms and legs to encourage this family who also has a child in nearly the exact same circumstance. Do you believe in luck or chance? Because we don't. Daniel's family doesn't. My family doesn't. Because that Thursday, I witnessed my parents speak to his parents. We put him in my wheelchair and we had such a good time, and it's changed my life. It has honestly changed my life to see how myself and my family have uniquely been used by God's grace for this family to never give up on God and to know that God has a special plan for Daniel too. One of the things that I know my parents were really touched about were how the parents of Daniel, Chris and Patty, handled the situation, trusted with God, and I want to just unfold that part of the story right now and just introduce you to Daniel's parents. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Patty, for having us here and sharing your story. We wanted to just share with our viewers, you and I know what miracle took place when we first met, and I know the change that God did in me after meeting you. But what I want to do is maybe just share with the people out there maybe the background of who you are and just when Daniel was born and all those sort of things. So how did you feel before you knew Daniel was going to be born that way? He was your first child, like I was my parents' first child. Were you excited? Did you have any fears? Just naturally.
I was excited because, he was my first child, and, you don't know what to expect. So you always want to do the best and follow the rules and do exactly what the doctors say, because you just hope for the best, and not only for yourself, but now you have somebody else in you that you need to take care of. So I try to do my best and everything I could and take care of myself while I was pregnant.
And you also said that you didn't ever take Tylenol even when you had a headache?
Yeah, I was just scared, and you always hear, you shouldn't be taking medicine, and the only thing I did was just take, my vitamins, and that's all.
Right. Did you ever have fears as a father, future father, did you ever have a day where you're thinking, well, I could never raise a child if this happened to my child? Did you have any fears of that sort?
It's funny you should ask that, because as soon as I found out Patty was pregnant, I just prayed to God and I told him, whatever you give us, we can handle, and I give you my trust 110%. So that's where I left off, and that's where we began.
Wow. So you also had ultrasounds. How was that? Was it? Explain to us the feeling that you had when you saw Daniel for the first time in ultrasound as new parents to be.
It was nice because you couldn't really see the baby, but you would see a little heartbeat, and that was amazing. And then as time went by, then you see, the baby growing, and it's funny because in one of the ultrasounds, Daniel looked like a little peanut. So from there on, we would call him our little peanut because he looked like it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I had 7 ultrasounds, and, never thought of anything wrong because, the doctor always said everything was normal and looking good and perfect.
Wow. And so it was 10 hours before Daniel was born that you found out. How did they share the news with you? Did they take you to a room? Did they say, okay, we have no idea
No, what they did was basically one doctor thought there was a problem, sent us to another doctor, which is another hospital, and that hospital sent us to a high-risk baby birth doctor. And within 5 minutes of their ultrasound, they turned it off and said that he was going to be, I think it was blind and deaf and missing organs, missing limbs, face deformed, going to die within the first few minutes of birth, and if he doesn't die then, he was going to die in a week, and multiple other things I can't think of, but it was like the worst, worst of the worst that she told us.
They didn't give him no more than a year to live.
Right. So then she told us that, and then we just bared with it, and then it just seemed like we went home and woke up at 5 in the morning and then went straight to the hospital and delivered Daniel. So
I remember the day I met you, and we were having praise and worship just before I got up there to speak, and I heard someone call my name, and I'm like, who's calling my name during praise and worship? You know, so I'm looking back, and was it you who was holding Daniel, or was it Miguel who was holding? I can't remember, but
God, it might have been me.
Okay. What I want to know is, how did you find out about me and this guy preaching in a church with no arms and no legs?
Well, a few people told us about you. I have to say, Patty's parents, Gail and Patricia, and I think one of my coworkers from work was really pushing the issue. He goes to a certain church, I forgot the name of it. He goes there, and he heard about you through the church. So at work, he kept calling me, saying, this is where he's going to be this time, this is where he's going to be next time. So finally we said, we can do definitely that weekend. And I forgot what city you were in and where we went to go meet you. And so we finally went, and he got there early and saved seats for us and everything, right behind you. And that's how it worked out. So we finally went.
What was going through your minds and your hearts as you saw me preach? And I know that I put you on the spot and I got you to bring out Daniel at the front. But I want to hear from your side. What do you remember, and what really stuck out in your mind?
Well, first I seen you in a video that my friend had gave me when she found out about Daniel. And I actually thought Daniel was the only baby that was born like that, because I just had no knowledge. I didn't know about anybody else. So when she showed me your video, I was like, oh my God, he's exactly like my son. And so when we went to go see you, it felt really good, because now we had somebody we could look up to, somebody that we could ask questions to. And since you were so much older, we were very happy to see where our son was heading to and all your accomplishments, because when you have no idea, you just don't know. And now when you see somebody else, it feels so good, and it's like, thank God that you were put in that position, and we'd seen you, because I really feel that God put you in our lives for a reason, and we actually got to see you and meet you. It felt wonderful. And when I hugged you, I felt like I was hugging my son.
Oh.
It felt good.
Awesome.
I felt like I was hugging my son, like when he's 24. It felt really good.
Can I ask you this question? If you could change anything about Daniel, what would it be?
In my opinion, nothing. He's fine the way he is.
Yeah, me too. It's like you see him and you try to picture him with arms, and it's just like, that's not him. You know, he's perfect the way that he is, because that's him.
Well, I see it. I see it in you. I saw it the first day we met you. I see the Spirit of God in this family and how just the miracle that He's done with unity in your family and just the miracles of your hearts and the grace that He's given you and strength. So I just want to thank you again from my heart, from the deepest corner of my being. I thank God for your obedience. I thank God that you still trust Him, because I know that this is not it. There's more to come, and I know that there are going to be difficult years ahead as Daniel grows up in school, and I'm going to be able to relate to him, and I can't wait for those moments. I really can't, and I just thank God for our friendship, and I'm looking forward to whatever God has in store for us.